Hello, everyone. My name is Flavia, and I'm going to be your host today for this talk. This program has two super important things as a goal. One of the goals is to offer a special gift in gratitude for the support of each one of you to the YSI Retreat Fund. This is a space where the beautiful beings that have benefited from the fund share with everyone their experiences and realizations during those retreats. The other goal is to sustain the connection between all the people who make up this chain that helps people to have the experience of deep retreats, and the people who supports financially, those who receive, and those who participate in promoting and organizing this fund. I feel that by raising awareness of the importance of taking retreats and helping more people to do so, we can dream of a reality where we all enjoy this experience and its benefits. And today we have two special guests, Benji and Kat, who share the experience of YSI's New Year's retreat, retreating with the Tiger of Quick and Drastic Methods. And I would like to, first of all, say welcome, Kat and Benji, for being here, and all of our guests. And I would like to start asking Kat, how did you find out about the fund?
Well, I simply reached out to Earl. I've known him for 22 years. And I know the spirit of our worldview organizations, how we are family. And I had overreached on donating a new big project, and so needed some assistance to attend this retreat. So it was a simple call to Earl. I'm not hearing you. I don't hear you. Am I the only one who does not hear?
I don't hear either.
Oh,
Yeah, we don't.
Oh,
We don't hear, but she is not muted. Maybe something with phone.
I'm so sorry, it's just my micro sometimes doesn't work. Now you hear me, right?
yes.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, no, I was just asking, did you see a poster, or how did you find out first the retreat, and then there was this possibility of maybe finding help, and you say it was through Earl.
That's correct. Yeah. It's, we're a big family. We're a very big family. And we give to each other when we can, and we ask for help when we can, and it's lovely.
Yeah, and I think what I hear from your answer is that we need to be connected with each other. We need to know each other, talk to each other. We need to keep nourishing the relationship between all of our organizations and between people too. And I think this fund and this talk is one way that we can do it. So thank you so much for everything that you do in Diamond Mountain, and for retreats, and for all the organizations, and also for being here and sharing with us. I would like to ask then Benji, what was this? I think this was your first time in Diamond Mountain. I want to know, how long did you stay, and how was the whole experience about being at Diamond Mountain and at the retreat?
yeah, it was my first time at Diamond Mountain. And it was my first time in the desert. and it was my first time meeting Kat. And yeah, we came for the retreat, and the retreat was 6 days. It was 6 days. Felt longer, felt not long enough some days by the end. Um, and so every day we did asana. Every morning we started with asana, and then we would do a cleansing practice, and then we did a meditation. And then in the afternoons, we came back and we did an Ayurveda class, and we would practice some kriyas, and then we would do another meditation and have a discussion. And the focus of the retreat was on the second chapter of the Hatha Yoga Pradipika. And so a big part of that chapter is the shot karmas, which are the cleansing practices. And so I've always been really into those things. I don't know. I think some people are just really into this idea that you have to like throw up and clean clean your face and clean your bowels in order to be a good yogi. I'm one of those yogis. Um, so of course I had to sign up. And then we did all those things together. Um, we did neti pots. We did sutra neti, which is using a thread to go in one nostril, and it goes up through the nose, through the nasal cavity, and it comes down into the throat, and you pull it. You reach inside the mouth to pull it so that the whole thread then goes through the nose and then comes out the mouth. Um, Turns out most of our sutras, our threads, they weren't long enough. So you would get it in there and it would like just get to the back of the throat, but there wouldn't be enough to grab. So you'd have to pull it back out the way it came, which is even more uncomfortable, I think, than pulling it through. We also did Kanjal Kriya, just drinking a bunch of water until the stomach is saturated with water, full of water. And then there's just a sudden urge to throw it back up. And I thought I'd get all the exciting stuff out of the way just to bring us together this morning. We also did Dowdy, just swallowing a cloth. So you swallow long, like thick cloth about that big, a couple centimeters. And you swallow into the stomach and then you pull it back out. And I don't know if she's on the line today, but there was only one of us that was able to do that successfully. But I still have like, there's a vision implanted in my mind of Nicole Flack. Like we're sitting across from each other and like she's trying to swallow this and we're both crying and like just gagging because it was not my practice. That's just not my practice.
Kat, for if someone doesn't know, Kat has done many retreats. When she did one of 3 years, 3 months, and 3 days, I think. Did you do these kind of practices during your retreat?
Earl took us through the series during 3-year retreat, at the end of the 3-year retreat. And it was fun to revisit them again with Benji and other friends. Unfortunately, I had just had hand surgery before this retreat, and so did not want to push my body into discomfort, feeling already weak from the hand surgery. So I was there. I watched it all, and I have the equipment with me that I'm sure my next retreat I will enjoy trying out again.
Okay, now for both of us, Benji just shared that this was a 6 days retreat. So it wasn't a super long retreat, and it was full of practices and teachings. But I'm interested to know how did you notice any difference in the quality of your mind from before and after retreat? And what was that?
Well, I had done a total of 4 years of retreat. In the first 10 years I studied Dharma, it was actually the word 3-year retreat that caught my attention. You know, we hear this story from Tim that he heard Lam Rim and he knew that was something he had to do. For me, the word was 3-year retreat. I love retreat. I love it. It's an extraordinary environment. Actually, my children were not very happy when I started studying the Dharma. I would try to retreat for 2 months a year, and they would not have it. So I could only retreat 1 month a year. I'm such a active person. I love this planet. I love all the people. I just want to help, and empower and excite and give hope. And so when I go into retreat, it's the only time I'm really left alone with my mind, without, expecting a phone call or scheduling for a meeting, having to do something. So retreat is an extraordinary place to be alone with my mind, with my heart. And I had to jump onto this opportunity for a 6-day retreat because, well, that's another story. I'll go into that story later. Yeah, my mind felt wonderful. After our morning sessions together, I would come home and our friend Sivan was cooking for me, taking care of me because of my hand surgery. And I would be alone with my sadhana again in my room in silence. And it's the most grounding, freeing, inspiring way to spend time for my active life. And I don't know, I can't stress enough how important this is to gift ourselves, to gift our minds, to gift our brilliance, our creativity, our energy. You know, we're all beautiful servants to the world, and we need this time alone to recharge our hearts. And you know what I'm saying? We need this time to be able to serve to the best of our capacity.
Yeah, I'm very much like Kat too. I'm a very busy person. I, the mundane world never ends, it seems like. So there's always something to do. And so I need retreat. And I totally notice a difference. And I totally notice a difference of doing retreat at Diamond Mountain. Like that's another level to it where other practitioners have been practicing there. It's been going on for some time. You're in the middle of the desert. There's like, if there's a sound in the valley, you can hear it. You know, it's like you could hear a pin drop in the valley, it seems like. And yeah, doing the practices with teacher Earl and teacher Lisa. I think there was a few moments I was like, yeah, I could do this for 3 years. I could do it. I really honestly felt that, and I felt inspired to do it. And to this day, I still can feel like Lisa's corrections in my body during my asana practice. I think, it's one thing to go to a yoga studio and have a yoga teacher, they make adjustments. But when you practice with your teacher for 6 days and they get to know you a little bit more intimately than just showing up for an hour at a yoga studio, their adjustments seem to mean more. The advice that Earl gave for meditation seemed to mean more to me. It had a greater effect. So I highly suggest retreating with your teachers and spending time like that with them. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Kat,
another reason I had to come on this retreat, was that teacher Earl and teacher Lisa were teaching. They're extraordinary individuals. And to have both of them together was irresistible.
beautiful. Kat, you were going to tell us about a story about doing retreat for 6 days in this case. And I really wonder, and I think many people wonder about that. In my case, like right now, it's a lot of classes going on and I don't want to miss them, especially when my teachers are teaching. And also I have to work. So you just said that you practice in the morning and then you took some time to do your practice alone and then you went back. How do you see that? Like, should we wait until we have time to do retreat? Or is this really good thing to try to find retreat in our daily lives? And, because you have done, like you said, 1 month, 3 years, now 6 days. Can you explain us like more about that?
Well, I have to confess, and this is a confession, after 3-year retreat, and after doing 4 years of retreat total, I came out and I was a different person from who went in. And I'm noticing it's taken me 10 years to kind of grow into my new skin, trying to figure out, wow, how do I respond to this? How should I behave? What am I doing? It's transformative going into a long retreat. And I had not done any retreat for 10 years. And I started thinking, I've got to get back into it. It was a habit for me. I think even it was an addiction for me because I love retreat, and I didn't do any for 10 years. So I thought, I've got to get back into this lifestyle, this habit, this pattern. So I jumped on it. What a great way to start the new year with Lisa and Earl and new friends at Diamond Mountain in a retreat house, dedicated, to retreat. So it was my New Year's resolution to get back into retreat. I feel comfortable in this form, ready to get back to that level of work. It's so easy to get sucked into feeling the world can't do without me, the world just can't do without me. I have to be here and take care of this and that, especially with family. And I was taking care of my mom for the last 10 years. And I finally just realized, no, go to a week retreat. The world is not going to fall apart without you for a week. So it was important to me that I do that and start the habit again of doing retreat. And yes, Flavia, how to work this idea of pulling out of the world every day is critical. And I have to say, when we were building Diamond Mountain, it was very busy time. We were writing classes, we were taking classes, we were building. And our teacher would not allow any work to start until 12 o'clock noon. And I understand, I'm hearing now that he does not start his work until 11. So that's a good little trick I'm going to start trying now that you're reminding me. Thank you, Flavia. You know, if we could just start the day a little later and be in retreat every day for, I don't know, whatever you can find. Get up at 3 and don't start work until 8 or something. It just means you have to go to bed earlier. And I know with family it's difficult to pull out. But when I had my family and I just started the Dharma, I did get up at 3. And I knew nobody would wake up until 7. So I had 4 hours every morning before the kids got up. So we just have to be creative and pick our activities carefully. You know, don't go out to the movies or play cards with your friends at night. Go to bed early so you can get up early and have some quiet retreat time every day at home. Okay.
Yeah, no, and even I love that, because my mind goes to, if I cannot do it right, then I won't do it. Like if I cannot take the whole week, or if I cannot do it every day, it's like, no, let's just do it. Like even next week, I haven't been able to take days off, and I was like, no, I need to do retreat at least 2 days. It's like, but I have class at night. Well, it's just do it 1.5 days, but like don't not do it because it's not perfect, or it's not that image that we have in our minds. So I love this, the way that you are expressing how important it was to take 6 days.
Right. So I'm very thankful to you guys for reminding me of these things. And that's why I had to go to that short retreat. There's no less value in the length of the time, because we can start remembering what's important and feel the support of our friends. You know, our Dharma friends are so important. This group here, us together, we need each other to do retreat, especially to get this idea of daily retreat into place.
I'm sorry about my crazy light. I don't know what is happening. I look like I'm in a disco ball something. Well, Benji, I know you did, it was a special ingredient for you and your retreat. How was that for you? And what can you share about it with us?
The special ingredient was my partner. How was that? It was great. I was nervous about it, for sure. I think I'm a sane human being. Oh, let's go on retreat with our partner. What could go right? But a lot of it went right. And I mean, we practiced together at home a lot. So that wasn't too new. That wasn't too different. What was new was that it was the first time she was meeting my YSI friends. So that was good. That was, I think, important. Just so you know, she approves. I can keep hanging out with you guys. Yeah, I think we're both like we're both kind of hermits. Hermit's like somebody who stays at home, doesn't really leave the home too much. So practicing in community together was new. And that's good. And I think, like Kat said, it's important, and like we're social creatures, and it's an important way to plant seeds. We plant seeds through other people, right? And but it was a challenge in some ways, like you're getting up at the butt crack of dawn to go meditate or do asana with a bunch of new people. And that's something that you didn't expect as a practice. You expect the practice to be sitting on the cushion, not being around other people and practicing together. But yeah, in the retreat cabin, it's so helpful because there's 4 hands. So you can get to the practice quicker. Like one person cooks, one person cleans, And so that was really helpful. I think if I had to do it myself, I'm not very good at cooking. I don't like to cook. She likes to cook. She doesn't like to clean. So we're a good pair. And that was really helpful. And then we could go to our personal sadhana in the retreat cabin, I think, easier because we had each other.
Thank you. That's lovely to hear. There is also a possibility to do retreats with your partner, even with friends in this case too. It can be your partner or it can be a friend. If you are afraid of doing a retreat solo, I don't know, I'm thinking someone that is afraid of doing it alone, maybe they can share the space, they can do their meditation on their own, but they can, what I'm trying to say is it's nice to find ways for us to start or to do it. And then maybe we get to do the 3 years solo with the super high practice and all of that. And maybe we don't need it. Who knows? Doesn't matter. It's just, doesn't matter, meaning it's going to be the best for each one of us to go on our path and to do what we can do and to find a way to do it instead of waiting for something, something to be perfect, something to be like other people. So
that's definitely the case, Flavia, by the way. And I have to say the format of this retreat was delightful. Getting together early in the morning, so our classes, our asana, our group practices were done pretty early in the day. Then we could go home and do our solitary practice. So I loved the balance of group activity and individual activity. It was not threatening at all and very supportive. I hope YSI does this a lot, by the way. It's a wonderful, wonderful way to do retreat, no matter how many retreats you've done. It doesn't matter, go take a break for 6 days. Go plant some good seeds. That's what retreat's all about anyway, and I think that's why our teacher says we can't start the day until noon, is because in our practice is where we garden. And then you do a good job gardening in the morning and bam, the day just happens magically with ease and joy and speed. My favorite element.
I love how it's counterintuitive, right? Like when we have a lot to do, we want to rush and we get tense. And that is exactly the opposite of what we need. And I think retreat teaches that, or having a practice teaches that. And we can go against slowly but surely against those wrong ideas of how reality works and how we can become successful in anything that we want to do. I want to, if people have questions, please, this is a good time for you to put them in the chat if you want. I want to ask also, how was for you to receive help, both of you? I know a lot of people want to go to classes, want to do retreat, and they feel uncomfortable with receiving for example, financial help, or sometimes even other types of help. What are your advice? How did you feel, and what are your advices about receiving help?
You want to go ahead, Kat?
Okay. You know, I want to say it wasn't difficult at all. As everyone does, we all practice generosity very well. I know we all give to every project, every program, every scholarship fund, right? And this is how that seed ripens, is when I need help, it's there for me. So it's part of how a family functions. We are family, you guys. It's such a beautiful family, and we help each other when we need help, just as a family does. And we give help when we're able, just as a family does. So it's beautiful. It felt, I had no hesitancy at all. No shame, nothing. Just, oh my God, Earl, I got to come to this retreat. Is there any help at YSI for me to get there? Right? It's just like you would ask your friend, your dad, your family, you know, I want to be there. Any help? Can you help me? And I think everyone should feel comfortable at that level. It's just, we want to help each other. So give when you can, and then ask when you need help. Beautiful.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with Kat. Ask for help. You know, like I was flying 2 people across the country. We had to eat. We had to get transportation, and then there's the cost of the retreat, and things add up. And it was so helpful to get help. So helpful to get help. Thank you to those who donated to the retreat fund. I am a better person. I showed up. I did the thing. Thanks for your help. And yeah, please keep donating so that future students can go and practice and learn and get their hearts and minds changed.
You know, when I started studying, I went to a few programs for free, or you know, for a really low cost. I didn't know anything really. I was just naive, and I was like, I just want to be there. So someone would say, "Well, come," you know, and then and at some point, I had a class with Rebecca. I think most people know Rebecca Vinacour. I think I was studying one course with her, and she said, don't, especially if you're new, like don't worry about receiving. The people that is new, your minds or our minds when we are new, are not ready yet to understand how important it is to give and to sustain these organizations, but you have the excitement to do the practices and to go to classes. And so the older students, we can pay for you. She said that, I remember. She said, we can pay for you. Don't worry. In a few years, you're going to have to pay for other people. And I love that. In one sense, because she took the pressure out of, you know, feeling uncomfortable with receiving. And in the other sense, she gave me a goal. And since there, I decided I had to prepare myself to be the one that pays for other people. So I've been giving to organizations, like Kat said. And at first, I didn't have a lot to give. I didn't have $100 per month per organization to give at all. But I remember teachers teaching us, just give whatever you have, but plant the seed to be able to give and to make giving easy. And now I do give more. And every year I can give more. And sometimes I don't know how much money I will have for myself, but I always have the money to keep giving, because it is a little wheel that is in place, and it works. And so I love this idea of us asking and being ready to receive and giving, and not seeing it as one is in one side and the other one is on the other side. And I think you both are beautiful examples of that, because you are both giving a lot and then you don't have a problem with receiving. So I would say, if you are having trouble with receiving, maybe find a way to give more, but also ask, so you can, start this wheel of exchanging with others.
I had a cute comment by Sarani, gosh, just before that YSI retreat, when I had the hand surgery. They were doing a big event up at Diamond Mountain, and I couldn't use this hand. I couldn't do much of anything. And she says to me, we all got together and decided that Sivan is going to stay behind and take care of you. Wash your clothes, cook your food, clean your house. I said, oh no, I couldn't accept. Oh no. Here's what she said. You must accept, because you planted that seed taking care of your mother. So you must accept. This karma is being forced on you. I thought, oh, that's an interesting perspective, right? When we practice generosity, it's the ripening is forced on us. So I think that's a lovely way to look at receiving. You're just going to have to deal with it, man. You gave, you're going to have to receive.
Benji, can you share with us also, how do you feel when you try to give something to people and they say no?
I think there's a cool term in yoga called upaya, which means a skillful means. I think before you give something, you should think about how you're going to give it. Like Sarani probably had that planned out. She knew you're going to say no. She had the whole thing lined up in her mind before it even happened, I'm sure. Just finding the way for people to accept it. And I think YSI needs to work on that, because we have scholarships for every course and not many people are taking them. So we need to find a skillful way to shove it in people's faces and get people to come and not feel like there's any obstacle in the way. Any obstacle that we could easily alleviate.
Interesting.
And how is that for you, Kat, when you try to give people? I know at Diamond Mountain you receive a lot of people. And how do you feel and what do you think when people say, no, 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 don't give me? When you try to give teachings or help, and people say, no, I cannot take it.
I have not experienced that. Maybe the giving is just a giant flood and tornado, and people just have to accept. I don't. I know I'm advised frequently to slow down on my giving. So that's my obstacle, is a perception that I give too much. So that's another interesting dilemma in this skillful means department.
Yeah, I feel like Kat's not really a person you say no to. Like if she's offering something, you just say yes.
I just wish I could give total enlightenment to everybody, you know, that's my wish. So maybe
I
with the
accept.
smaller gifts, they're easy to accept. Hmm.
I've I've heard a lot of people sometimes saying or asking questions because they offer and people don't want to accept, teachings and and I think learning to receive is a beautiful way of creating the because maybe Kat, you don't have that problem because you also receive. So it is this cycle that is in place that is working for you. Um,
Does
and I think
YSI advertise their scholarship availability? It's on the website? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, then I think it's a good seed you've planted, Benji, to receive. And now you've planted that seed and you can rejoice and dedicate it to everybody else receiving.
now I would like to ask you if you want to share anything apart from the questions that I was able to think about, but maybe you have other things that you want to share with people, either with people thinking about doing retreat or with people that is thinking about supporting this fund, whatever insight or thoughts that you have and you want to share.
And what do you got, Kat?
I got what I have to say is do retreat. Don't let anything stop you. I so regret. Well, I accept the last section of my life has been in different areas of development. I am so grateful to YSI for getting me back into retreat mode. And my next retreat's going to be in July for 1 month, and I can hardly wait. Just do it and start with a weekend. Or start, we were talking about committing to mornings, little mini retreats every day. Just start creating little chunks of time to be together with your heart and your mind. And I always like to say, beg for help from the angels, just beg for help. Please support me in this retreat environment so I can achieve all the goals and help all the beings achieve the goals. That's your power moment, is when you're in retreat by yourself with all the heavyweights. Create it, create it, create it, do it, do it. You won't ever regret it. And I know people say, well, I can't leave my kids, or my mom's going to be sick, or, it's hard to make the priority. And it's hard to, say goodbye to loved ones for any period of time, be it for 3 hours or a weekend or a month. But I strongly, strongly suggest starting to create this into a habit, a lifestyle that the world will live with and support you doing it, including your family.
Yeah, I think that asking for help, you know, even if it's for money, if it's for the angels, if it's for a babysitter. Like you don't need to do things alone, you know.
Mm.
Why would you want to? It's so much easier when we have friends. I've got a guy delivering lumber to my house today. I texted all my friends, please come help me unload this lumber, you know. Otherwise it would have been a nightmare. um I think one thing I'd share about retreat, um at the end of retreat, I the most every time I do retreat, I'm the most clear and concise. I know my purpose. I know what I need to do. And it's always when I get back to my normal life that it seems crazy. It seemed like, no, those retreat ideas were crazy,
Mm.
but it's actually the opposite. Your normal everyday life is crazy. It's insane. It's those clear insights in retreat that were the same. Those are the ideas that should be normal. So I recommend journaling in retreat. And Earl had us do a lot of that. Like, what's your intentions for this year? And um, what went well last year? What didn't go so well? And out of those, in that space, the best kind of all of the pivotal moments in my life have come from the end of retreat. Like all the big changes in my life have come from doing retreat or being in some kind of ceremony or a deep practice space where 3 hours later seems crazy, but you just have to remember that no, your everyday mind is crazy. Just stay, just stay with that intention that is true. So if you were on retreat, maybe look back at your notes and try to tap into that very sane, clear mind that you have and start to live from that.
That's
You name
beautiful. I have to
you,
say that my journal from 3-year retreat is next to my bed.
Mhm.
And I love flipping through it every once in a while and going, wow, that happened. Big ideas. Like Peachtree World News was one of my retreat ideas. It's so crazy. I wanted to see a satellite network broadcasting Dharma 24/7 into every little chai shop in South America and India. And it's happening,
Yeah.
these, yeah, it's a very magical state of mind, a very, whew,
Yeah.
it's,
Peachtree was on my list too. That's funny. And I keep it with me. I go on when I do circle days. Today's my circle day. I keep my notebook in I have a special backpack for circle day. And I keep that backpack with me, and that journal is one of the things in my special backpack.
beautiful.
for the people who doesn't know what is a circle day, Benji.
Circle day is a day where it's like a mini retreat. So you take a day to do your sadhana, do your practices, um, and try to get into that magical state of mind. I think recently for me, it's been less about practice and getting more into going on a hike, doing something I wouldn't normally do, getting out of that routine of eat, sleep, work, go to bed, and like tapping into that magical state of mind. And you can set up a schedule for yourself. Like or you can just release the idea of schedule and routine and let it take you away. That's been helpful for me.
Yeah, that's a beautiful, beautiful reminder to take a day a week out. And I think so much comes to us merely by breaking that routine you're talking about. You know, once we break the routine, that opens up the potential to something new coming into your heart, which is the whole idea.
Someone asked in the chat, how do you create your schedule? Either if it's flexible or not, but how do you go on to create it?
Well, our tradition teaches in a particular lineage a 4-session schedule per day, where you do certain practices after dawn and before noon. For example, yoga, prostrations, meditation, mantras. And you put meals in there in the 4 session, in one of the 4 sessions or between one of the 4 sessions. And then the next session is done between 12 and sunset. Next is between sunset and midnight. And then next is between midnight and 6 a.m. or dawn. And then, as I say, you put the meals in there. But the schedule, again, is intended to startle the routine of normal day, workaday world. And my thought is that it, first of all, starts messing with the sleep cycles, because you've got to get your 4 sessions in these predetermined quadrants of the day, which doesn't really leave a big chunk of time to sleep. And this idea of breaking the routine, breaking the habits, is powerful, because then we start thinking differently. And that's the goal, you know? If it's true that all suffering comes simply from wrong thinking, oh, then all I got to do is change my thinking somehow. So I don't see suffering. So the 4-session schedule has been exciting for me. And as I say, it's scriptural scheduling suggestion.
Yeah.
Kat, I have one small question about that, and then Benji, please share with us what you think. You say changing your routine changes the way that you think. There is any example? I'm sure there is thousands, but one example that you can remember now about a way of thinking that you had, and then because of these changes in routine or practices, you found yourself just thinking in a different way, in a new, better way?
Well, the most obvious one to me is how am I thinking, how am I going to help myself versus how am I going to help somebody else? And that's taken me a long time to change. But I'm noticing that now I'm focused on how I'm going to help somebody else, instead of waking up, oh, how am I going to make more money? How am I going to go buy a new dress? I don't know, find a new job. I really do prioritize naturally now. My thoughts have been retrained. Oh my gosh, who needs my help today? How can I help that person? It's a deep change. And I love it. And I'm happy all the time.
I think that is a perfect way of saying it in one phrase. Now I think about other people first, and I'm happy all the time. Like, I think we can use it as a slogan for retreat.
Yeah.
I love that. Benji, you were gonna share something, please.
Yeah, I do see Jackie's got a question in the chat. I think Kat's answer was great. Maybe I could address that question because there's only 3 minutes. Um, come back into the world. Yeah, definitely take an extra day at Diamond Mountain after retreat. Don't leave the last day of retreat. And because I didn't, I stayed an extra day. I actually was invited to my friend Kat's house for dinner with Savan, and we had a lovely dinner, and now we're working on a project together. So I think keeping the connections that you made during retreat will keep that retreat magic alive. Talking to the friends that you made and allowing that buffer of I'm in retreat, now I'm not in retreat, and having a way to kind of spread that out so it's not such a drastic change. That was really helpful. And stay in contact with the people that you retreat with. Anything to add, Kat?
I think what you said earlier is super important, is to keep your confidence that ideas you came up with in retreat are valid and important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's real important because they can seem rather outlandish, but that's not the case.
Well said.
Teacher Sarani also taught me that, and you named her before. She told me in retreat, she said, write your crazy ideas and then choose the best 10 or something like, I don't remember how many, but write them or print them, put them in your fridge and keep looking at them all the time. And I think sometimes we underestimate the power of our intention in our mind and the focus, especially when the mind is focused, because I've seen how those ideas after some time are opening and creating my reality. So like having these beautiful ideas, give them a special place and keep looking at them, that's changed reality. And I think it's a beautiful, not so hard way to bring retreat with us, like put it in the fridge, like you have to use the fridge, like, so put them there. Well, the time is up. I want to say thank you both for your practice, for taking the fun and doing retreat, and for sharing with us. I'm gonna be working for this fund in the present and the near future. And I love both your ideas. You said two things. One is think about this whole process as family. We are family. We give and we receive, God says, right? Like don't think, should I take it? Should I know? Is it? No, we are a family. You just ask for what you need and give what you have. And so I see this fund in that way. It's this place where we become a family. And Benji said friends. He said, I call my friends and come here, help me. And I love that. I'm from Argentina. And we are like that. We just go to our friends' houses and we cook for them or ask them to cook for us. And I love that idea too. This is a space for friends to come together, to help each other achieve those goals of doing retreat, of having realizations, of having a practice. So that's what I want to share with the people, that is helping in the fun and receiving the fun. And why not doing both? Why not giving and receiving in the same context and being these friends or this family? So I just want to say thank you. Thank you for the people that is coming, helping, receiving, and both of you for doing that.
Thank you, YSI. I think your programming is off the chart, by the way. Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, Flavia. Thank you, Kat. Thank you to all my friends that went on retreat with me. Thank you, Teacher Earl and Teacher Lisa.
Thank you.
Thank you, translators.